What's up, beautiful people? J Money,
What it do?
how are you, man?
Good.
Super Bowl, what was it like for you, man?
Boy, man, that was a good game.
That was a good game.
That was a good game. That was one of the best Super Bowls I've seen in a while.
How you feel about the call at the end?
I told you put on Facebook what I was typing it out. Then I said, the Texans not playing.
Yeah, if it was Texans, it would be a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
What about Rihanna?
I thought she was good. I
Yeah.
feel like the whole world was looking at that, not even listening. Everybody was having the same conversation.
Is she pregnant?
She pregnant? No, she's not pregnant. The whole world was having the same conversation.
You know what? If it's a way to show the world that you're pregnant, she did her thing.
Absolutely.
So, but at the same time, it was cool for her to not do what everybody expects. Showing nipples and cheeks and everything else. She was able to rock it with a full bodysuit on. So, salute to you, Ree.
Visuals were amazing.
Yeah, that was unreal. Did you see that end part when Shannon Sharp was trying to give her a hug and she big timed him? He was at the side where she was kind of about to walk out, and she was like, and
I don't know. I didn't see that.
All right, back to the podcast. So I hope everybody had a great Super Bowl weekend.
Yep.
This series I thought was one of our best podcast series.
Absolutely.
Tell us the good. We were able to sit down with different individuals to first ask them questions.
Yep.
I thought we were going to do more of a highlight, Jared, and it turned into who they are, where they from, but what's really going on.
Yeah.
And today, what do you think about reflecting on everybody? What's your outtake?
I think that's dope, man. First off, this is weird, y'all. It has just been me and you on the camera in so long.
In a long time. In a long time.
This is how it all started, but we back. But no, I think it'd be really good to sit down and maybe talk about some of the things that not only we learned, but maybe some of the feedback that we got from members, as far as some of the things they took away from it. Because we've talked about. I know you've gotten a lot. I've gotten a lot. So
yeah. What do you think would be the? No, you know what? I don't even want to say that. Let's just start with episode number 1.
Okay.
Wendy.
Wendy.
That's my sis, y'all. That's my sis. I seen her the other day in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And she kind of gave me that look, and I was like, "What's up? Do I need to beat somebody up?" She's just like, "No." So, what was your feel with Wendy? First, when do you see Wendy personally?
Man, me and Wendy, I personal train with Wendy, so I see her every week, at least 2 to 3 times a week. Obviously, I don't come in the evenings, but I see her pretty often in the gym. So, yeah, she's around quite often. She's one of the most weekly people I see on there.
After the podcast, did she say anything to you? Or was it back to business?
Back to business, but I think a lot of people are nervous when they see the podcast and they think about it, and then they get on like they get in here and they see the setup and the cameras, and they're like, "Oh snap, this is not what I was expecting." I didn't know I was gonna have all these cameras pointed at me. But even for her, I think when we sit people down, it's like, "Hey, this is about to be an organic conversation." Yeah. And then for her, it was really cool to see her get organic with the conversation. She told us some things I didn't know. Yeah. So to be able to let that out on camera is pretty cool.
I think one of my legendary moments, if I was to do a take back for Wendy, was the gym hoe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wendy, you set the tone for the whole series. And I think the thing for me specifically, I remember that experience when she was like, "No, you don't get it. I'm a gym hoe."
Yeah.
And when we're saying gym hoe, guys, we're talking about jumping from gym to gym, nothing else. All right. But when she told me that, I didn't understand it to the degree that I understand it now. Yeah. And it set the tone. I think for even the rest of the guys and girls that came on after, I think it set them to a standard of researching different questions and also what they wanted to present. And I think for her specifically, it was cool to see her open up and share that she's been other places, that she has success. You remember the jump rope? Yeah. She has success of losing weight on her own, but for some reason, she's still here. And the question I have for her, is do you remember one thing that stood out as our personal trainer, as our group instructor, coach? Is it one thing that stuck with you where you're like, dang, she's still here because of X, Y, Z?
I know she talked a lot about our, the energy, the commitment to what it is that we do. And I really did appreciate that. I know for her, that was my first time hearing that she lost that much weight doing jump rope.
I didn't know either.
So that, for me, I was like,
I didn't know that.
Dang.
I didn't know that.
And I loved it because, honestly, from that moment going through training, I was like, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple. I understand, we throw these different movements at y'all. We do all of these different things to kind of keep you entertained, right? Today we're not doing back squat today. We're doing a Zercher squat.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know that. We're not going to do a Zercher squat. But, like, just different things, even though we're hitting the same muscle groups, like, in your head it's something different. But for her, it was so simple. Like, I did jump rope and I lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So I know, like, for me, I was like, dog, just keep people consistent.
Yeah.
Because that's what lost her 100 pounds. Not the jump rope. Consistency lost her 100 pounds.
Yep.
So that spoke a lot to me.
I love it. And I think for me, man, Wendy, if you see this or hear this was a moment for me where I was explaining how we bring other coaches on or team members on.
Yeah.
And how I'm kind of low-key scared. You're bringing somebody in and you're used to Jason, you're used to Jared, and then when we bring someone in, she said something that gave me a lot of confidence and comfort. She said, hey, man, I believe if you bring somebody in, you're bringing them in for the right reason and the right person. So for me specifically, as the person that has the opportunity to bring workouts or regiments or systems or personnel in, to have that confidence that someone thinks that highly of me personally, that I ran with that, man.
Yeah.
And hopefully with the podcast, Jared, I'm able to show my transparency more versus the guy you see on the camera or the guy on the podcast. I wanted to really on this series open up and hopefully people connect. So I wanted you guys to know your opinion matters, the way that you look at things matter, and it was cool to kind of hear that from, obviously, Wendy.
Absolutely.
With Wendy, do you think, what do you think her mentality is now that people have heard the podcast and listen, and then she goes back to the gym? Do you think she's like, oh, people know who I am, or she don't care? That's Wendy.
It's Wendy, man. Wendy, I don't think she's very big into attention. So I think she just went back and it was, back to work as usual.
Back to work.
I do think it was cool. Not too long ago, I think I told you, my man Jeff Weber, he's a OSU alum.
Yeah.
So I'll get into this question later, but he watched the podcast, obviously. And I have a question about that. But he was like, hey, I saw you in that OSU jacket on the podcast. She was like, yeah. And for me, it was like, dang.
Yeah.
That was our first episode. And for y'all that don't know, Jeff Weber, I do personal training with him. Like, he's a
what up, J-Dub?
Old member of boot camps in the gym.
OG.
Yep, one of the OG members. But as of currently, he doesn't participate. If you go to the 6 a.m., you know who I'm talking about. But for him, he watches the podcast. So he actually knew who Wendy was from that. So obviously he had an OSU shirt on that day, and he came up to us, and she was like, hey, I went to OSU. He was like, I know, I saw you on the podcast.
That's dope.
And then they started talking back and forth. So I thought that was pretty cool just to see the interaction and see throughout this 6-episode series how many people actually did tune in. Like, it was pretty cool to me.
I think specifically with Wendy's episode, it set the tone.
Yeah.
It was because we've had people on, but it was like, I don't want to call it a fluff, where it was like, hey, what do you do? What do you think about the gym? It was like, no, tell us the good, like the good, the bad, the ugly. And if you know Wendy, she's going to tell it how it is. And I think that brought in a certain ear or perspective for everybody to tie in. And the cool thing about Wendy, I think people, because she gets in her zone when she works out and she likes to be pushed, but I think people see that she just has a heart to get better. Yeah. And she has a heart to set a high standard, and everybody wants that. Nobody wants to set a low goal and never hit it. You want to set these big objectives and hit them. And I think when people see that, no matter whether you held an hour conversation with her after class or not, now you know, like, that's why I like working out next to her, because her effort, her energy is going to be so consistent. And Wendy, man, she's just an awesome person.
She is.
Just an awesome person, man. And so, because we have 5 more other people.
She did make a comment before we move on. I want to
go ahead. What you got?
So Wendy said something that I want to ask you about. Wendy, she was talking about going to all of these other gyms, and excuse my French, but she said, I hate going to gyms and they try to sell you.
Yeah, she did say that.
You as an owner, man, we try to, obviously we have to sell packages. Otherwise, that's not the way we pay the bills, right?
That's a great question.
We don't have to. We sell memberships. Not memberships. We sell supplements. We sell shirts. in her position, obviously she said that for a reason. She,
Right.
she wants to get in and get her goals. But from an owner's perspective, how did you receive that?
I agree with her. I think that when you come off as a salesman, nobody wants to be sold something.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mindset that I get to buy. Like, nobody goes to the Apple store and wait in that line and then get sold an iPhone because they were such a good salesman. You get in that line, you're like, man, I get to buy the iPhone today. And that's my approach with fitness. I don't feel personally I'd ever had to like trick somebody into buying a package.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what we are. This is how much we cost. Do you want it?
That's
and
fair.
because of that, I've never came off as, or y'all let me know. Y'all comment down below. Let me know if I'm a good salesman or not. But I never felt like I had to sell anything. I felt like we present who we are and offer it, and people feel like, oh man, I get to join the gym. I get to go to that class. I get to work out with Jared. Same thing with supplements. I've never tried to like, hey, you need to do this and make sure you do this. Like, hey, I get to take supplements. I get to take BCAAs to help me recover. I get to replenish my muscle groups. Like, I want everybody to feel that way. I get to train with Jared with personal training. I get to go to XYZ event or whatnot. So I think that is an important approach. But at the same time, there are jobs where you do have to counter offer reactions for your service or your product to be seen.
Yeah.
So I respect the hustle in someone, but hopefully we don't feel that we have to push that much to sell.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Absolutely. I wholly agree. I believe, like, I mean, it's kind of, I worded it into the question a little bit.
Yeah.
We have to, quote unquote, sell. Like, that's the official terminology of it. So if somebody says, well, you still selling? Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like your health.
Right.
Like,
that part.
I feel like battling a long-term chronic disease is cheaper than doing this. So I'm trying to sell you on this.
Absolutely.
A better life. Not, hey, I want to go buy a Ferrari. I need you to give me some money so I can go get this Ferrari. Like, I'm not trying to sell you for my own personal gain or wealth. I'm trying to sell you for your life, right?
Yeah.
So, I do believe when it comes to trying to better somebody, that I feel like sales tactics are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Me trying to get you to buy a printer is going to be a little bit different from me trying to get you to buy a membership to come.
Sure.
Better yourself.
That's true.
So, yeah, that's what I took from it.
I also think it's, now that you point that out, I think it's a disservice to someone if you don't try to show them what you can actually do for them, right? If I go to, again, the Apple store and I just need a phone to talk on, I don't necessarily need an iPhone. But if they tell me how I can use these apps and how, with iPhone you can jump on somebody's Wi-Fi, whatever the reason why you want a phone that's a smartphone, I think it's a disservice not to tell somebody that. Like, if somebody comes into our gym and we say, hey, you work out here, you can get a great workout, I'm doing a disservice.
Yeah.
Because they may not know that the reason of them joining the gym might be the reason why they meet their husband or their wife.
Yeah.
Or maybe, as you say, conquer that doctor report or get off medication or meet their new best friend or beat depression or find peace, find joy. So we're doing a discredit if we don't show people who we are. So if that's a salesman, yeah, I do sell that, right? But at the same time, that for those that are in business for sales, you'll understand this when I say this. Salesman or saleswoman, it should not have a negative association to it. Like, why? Because I'm trying to show you I'm good at something or the product is good at something. Why am I considered bad, right?
Yeah.
So I think for those that sell things wouldn't take that the wrong way. But I thought that was a great question.
Hey, that made me think of
interesting.
What's is it the Karate Kid? Too much good is not good.
Yeah. I know you're talking about.
When I think of sales, I think of that.
Yeah.
When there's too much of it, that's when you start to have a negative association with it.
Absolutely. I think also I would not be who I am if somebody didn't sell that I could be successful.
That's fair.
If my father didn't sell that I can be productive, I would have not been productive.
Yeah.
So again, it doesn't have to have a negative association.
That's
so
fair.
Shout out to Wendy, because she never made me feel like that car salesman.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say car salesman because that's not. I've had some great car salesmen. Right?
Yeah.
I've had some great ones. Honestly, my best car salesman guy, and then we'll go to Liz, is I was buying a car, truck, and he let me test drive it. And then I was giving him the keys, but he's like, oh, I don't need them. I was like, why? What you mean? He's like, oh, they're yours. And he made me feel like, oh, you deserve this, because the dealership I went to prior to that, they wanted to know if I can afford it. That was the first question. Hey,
Yeah.
can you afford this car? And it just turned me off.
Yeah.
So when I went to a good salesman, he was like, oh, no, you deserve this. You keep the keys. We'll talk about the financing. I was like, dang, he's good. So that was a good salesman. So good stuff.
That's fair. That's fair.
So again, shout out to Wendy. Y'all give Wendy some love in the comment section.
Shout out Wendy.
All right. Episode 2, who do we have?
Episode 2, we had my girl Liz.
Liz. That's my girl. And that was a cool segue from Wendy to
Yeah.
Liz because the way it happened. Remember?
Wendy was like, I think y'all should have Liz on here.
Won't he do it? Won't he do it?
That was funny.
All right. So with Liz, what was your takeaway?
Man, I will say this. Liz, throughout all of these episodes, obviously, I was caught off guard on a couple, but for her specifically,
Yeah.
she hit us with that. She was an athlete up in, oh, man, where was she from? Not Connecticut.
Boston. With Julie.
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Yeah, when she said she wore a kilt,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait.
That was class.
What?
That was class. That was class. I want a picture. By the
Yeah,
way,
like
Liz.
that's something I had never even heard. Like I thought that was something they did in like Ireland or something like
Yeah.
that. I didn't think that was an American thing
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Well, Boston. Hey, so from those from Boston, it gets freaking cold out there. And here, I want them to look me in the eyes. We don't get that coldness.
Oh no.
So I think where you say is Ireland or Boston, you have to be that. Okay, hold on. This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. So if it's cold, why wear the long skirt? Because don't your ankles?
No, 'cause I think they wear super thick socks. And this is all thought, y'all. If I'm wrong, I don't know. But I just feel like they wear these long skirts with thick socks and
We're getting butchered in the
guess
comment
cleats
section.
probably.
So if it's does long socks, thick socks, is that more warmer than sweatpants?
Probably because they be wool. That's my opinion.
Mm.
Guys, I know it's 2023. Google works. We could have easily Googled this.
Nope. Nope. I want to know. I want to know from what everybody else says and think.
Oh, man.
But no, Liz, man. So Liz was interesting to me because, well, Wendy's not from Houston as well, right? But from my initial reaction from that podcast, that show, was like, man, she kind of need us.
Yeah.
Like I got in the car and I was thinking about it as I was driving to wherever I was going. I think I was going to eat. And I was like, man, where would Liz or who would Liz be around potentially after work if it wasn't for Mean Green? You think of the people that she became friends with and after work, like I see her come to work. Come to the gym from work.
And work clothes,
And I'm
yeah.
like, dang, like, obviously I know that happens a lot where people come after work, but I'm like, dang, she's from a different city. And seeing her at our events and seeing her in pictures and videos with others, I was like, dang, like, people need us. So
Yeah.
that was like my walk away from Liz. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. I think embracing the culture. Like
Yeah.
that's kind of one of the big things I heard from her. She just takes it in from the workouts to trusting, our programming and the way that we do things.
Oh, yeah, that part.
To embracing our events
Yeah.
and just being there.
You know what? Saying that with the event that's coming up this weekend, that's the reason why we do those events.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously, our team, from our trainers to our admin to everything that we operate in, everybody's super busy.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But this is the reason why we do what we do. I don't know if Liz would be here without those events. If it was just workouts.
Yeah.
She does enjoy the workouts. She does enjoy the community. But how many relationships, I'm curious, were developed because of an event, because of kickball, because of volleyball? And I'm curious for you guys. Answer below. I'm curious. If it wasn't for an event or something that had happened outside of the hour of class, what friend would have you not met? I'm curious to see their reaction. I'm going to actually go down to the comment section and read this after the show. Who would have you not met if it wasn't for the 60 minutes after class or an event? My question to you, Jay, is who would have you not?
I know. I just know.
He was trying to come.
Man, I knew he was gonna ask. I knew it. I was thinking too. So I think it's somebody that came to the gym. He came to the 7:30. Didn't even really know him. He's not here anymore, but his name is Jacoby.
Yeah.
He was on the kickball team.
Hold on. You said Jacoby?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
Jacoby. Yeah, he's a trainer. He joined the gym for like a month or two.
Yeah. I know you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened to be right when we were playing kickball and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he came out. He was on the kickball team, and he really bonded with everybody.
Yeah.
So that was one of those moments. Like even now, we follow and message each other on Instagram every now and again. But that was through kickball.
Yeah.
Like that. I saw him a couple times at the gym, but other than seeing him in passing, that was the first time we sat down and got together.
That's a good one.
But aside from me, it was cool seeing, like, I had some of my Northside Bootcamp members, Southside Herman Park, Bootcamp members, and then they were intermingling with the gym.
Yeah.
So even so much so to where Maritza, who we'll get to, came into the gym and she knew some people because of kickball, because of flag football, because of events like that.
And that was the name I was going to actually say, was Maritza, because I went to the beach workout.
Okay.
And that's when I actually met her. So maybe I wouldn't have known her prior to that, or maybe we just would have missed each other. But because I was able to see her when she came to the show, that was a warm face. If I see her at the party, it's going to be another warm face. So I'm always curious with that, man. And I think, again, Liz paints that picture, or she painted that picture for me at least, like, man, there's some cool people that's at this gym that I would not know if it wasn't for an actual event. And then the workouts for Liz, her and I, we sat over there and talked at least an hour once after class, just talking about philosophies and different things. And then we have 4 more people after this. So I'm going to say this, and then if you have anything else, definitely spill your beans. But I see her physique now. And she wearing them. She shout out to D. Crite. She wearing one of D. Crite tanks, and she had the cutoff on. She was ripped up. And I remember her not wanting to touch a barbell, because she wasn't comfortable with it. Yeah. And now to see her progression and see her excitement and wanting to get better, I hope that in that show that people took it for what it was, that she didn't give up because she wasn't familiar with it. She went to the uncomfortable. She went to where it was uncomfortable. She went to where she didn't already know it. Yeah. And how boring would life be if you only did what you know? And how much more does she have the definition or the strength than she would have had if she just would have stuck to what she known, which was running. So shout out to Liz, man. I thought that was freaking incredible.
Absolutely. I would say my last takeaway from Liz was the go-getter, man.
Oh, yeah. And that matched Wendy as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
A go-getter. Sometimes it's crazy because people like that can't even answer the question.
Yeah.
Like, why do you go? I don't know, because I go. Like, sometimes they don't even have an answer. And it's just because it's in their DNA. But I did hear, as she was talking about how she grew up, like, I think it was rooted into her upbringing.
Absolutely.
Of just get it done.
I love it.
Go.
I think it's that Boston mentality too.
Yeah. I think so.
I love it.
I thought that was cool to hear from her. Just because I look at her and I see her going hard and always.
Cause she go hard.
Yeah. When she finishes, she's like almost looks at you like, was that good enough? Like, did I go hard enough?
Right.
Is there more? So I love that about her.
I love it. Well, again, shout out to my girl Liz.
Shout out Liz.
All right, that was episode 2.
Yes, sir.
Episode 3, we were able to journey to the other side of town, to the north side. So shout out to the north side and Cherie. All right, episode 3, right?
Rick.
I thought Rick was first.
Rick was first.
We gotta look that up.
I'm pretty sure Rick was first.
You know what? The reason why I think Rick is first is because you schedule him. You do all the scheduling. Was it Rick or Reed?
You got me wheeling now. You got me wheeling now.
That's what we're gonna do. I gotta look it up now. All
right, y'all. If you know the answer,
I gotta look it up.
Type it down below. We had a 6-week cycle, and we lost.
I really don't know. I'm about to look it up.
Really don't know.
Well, you scheduled him, so it had to be Rick.
I thought it was Rick, but I'm gonna let you. Because it could have been Sheree. You're right.
I'm scared.
On a segue, y'all, we started off talking about the Super Bowl. And Chris Stapleton, man, he gave me goosebumps singing the national anthem.
That boy can sing.
That was a really good national anthem. If y'all didn't get the chance to listen to it, it's on YouTube. It has 2.1 million views. I know because I went back to rewatch it.
That boy can sing.
That was really good. All right, episode 3 with Sheree. He was right.
What?
He was right.
The old man. Shout out to T. The old man won the battle.
He did. And notice, I didn't say old man this time, so don't.
Now she said your 30s.
Don't fire me up. No, it wasn't me. That was Damien.
No, what did she say? Your 30s getting late.
She said your 30s is not on time.
That's what it was. All right, so
man.
sorry. So back to Ree. Ree was incredible, man. It was cool because I'm gonna say my 2 cents about Ree. Why I thought it was cool, but I'm gonna start with you. Why was Ree awesome for you? Or was she not awesome?
She was.
Okay.
And it all goes down to just being real. Like, she got on there and she was real.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing different about her being on that podcast than me talking to her after 425 class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was the same person. She said the same stuff.
Yeah.
It was cool kind of hearing her perspective on not necessarily how things are run, but her vibe of the gym. Like, she got on there and she was for real. Like, hey, I like the family here. I like coming and hanging out with the family. Yeah. Not so much the workouts, because I don't like working out like that, but the family. So it was cool hearing her, talk real. So
she was awesome. I think the thing that I really enjoyed about her, as you said what I was gonna say about being real, she kind of like convicted me a little bit when we talked about spending time with your family and stuff. She's like, oh no, I spent time with my family. Like I sat there in the middle of the show like, dang, she's right. Yeah. So I can't use that as a pass. So shout out to you, Ree, for saying that and doing that. With Ree, because you see her more than me, but you don't get to train her, right, as much. Why did you go after her for this episode? Was there a certain reason?
Because of what I just said. She was just real. Yeah. Like, if I could think of anybody that would open up and just say what they wanted to say,
it would be her.
Right? That was gonna give us a good episode of what's really good. It was gonna be her, and she did not disappoint. Like, she kind of she opened up and told us what's really good. So much so to where there was even some things she wanted to address on there that she was able to. So,
yeah. Do you remember any of those? I don't remember. I don't remember.
Man, first of all, the forgetting that we're doing right now on her episode, she is not gonna let us live this down. So I'm sorry, Sheree.
She's not. She's not.
Y'all didn't forgot who I was. Now y'all didn't forgot what we said.
I didn't forget who she was.
You're right. That's all me.
Only thing I think she wasn't Barbell. Who was asking about Barbell? Somebody asked about the bar. That was T. It seemed like she asked something more about. I can't remember. It'll come back to us, and if not, we're gonna have to look in the comment section because she's gonna call us out, and then we gotta review it. So, for me, guys, specifically for T, I think it became personal a little bit for me. Yeah. And the reason why I say it was personal because I don't get to see T ever.
Sheree.
Dang, I switched it up. Sheree's gonna murder us. Sheree, sorry, I don't get to see Ree that much, or at all, and that was like a personal moment for me to sit down and talk. Like, literally have a dialogue where, hey, this is what I think. What do you think? Oh, I didn't know you thought that. And I think she felt the same for me. I think Ree got to see a side of me based upon, because she was ready for those questions.
Absolutely.
How many questions did she have?
13. No, T had 13.
She had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
She had at least.
Too. We talked about our deepest fears. We talked about a lot of stuff on that one.
And I think that's it. That's what I'm going to say. She asked me some questions where I felt like she was at all after my answer. Because I think sometimes people see me on the Instagram or the Facebook or an ad, and it's like, oh, that's Chris. He's supposed to say that. But she was asking me some questions that was personal, and I think she was just like, oh, he's normal. Or he's just like me. And I felt, for me specifically, it was personal for that reason. Yeah. Because for me, Jared, I bleed just like everybody else bleed. Yeah. And I think, from transparency, when I make mistakes, man, I effed up. I made mistakes. Or the reason why this started was because of trial and error and not perfection. And I believe she was able to ask those questions and look at me like, I felt like she looked at me like, oh, you're all right, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, like you actually all right. And because of that, I took that person and I was very appreciative of that moment.
I got you. I would say, from my perspective, I think that it all went full circle. And if you're watching this, Cherie, you probably know what I'm talking about. Most of the time in the gym, we have a lot of conversation about random stuff. But one of the things that we do have in common, or one of the conversations that we have, had on repeat a couple times is like when I left the gym, I wanted to go see my mom.
Yeah.
And she would say things like, "Oh, you're so sweet. I
Yeah.
hope my son does that when he gets older,"
I
and
remember
yada,
that.
yada, yada.
Yeah.
So, like, we would have that kind of conversation every single time. Not every single time, but on repeat sometimes. But I thought it was cool that that conversation made its way to the podcast.
Yeah.
To where she was talking about the kind of mother that she wants to be for her son, how he wants to see her, all of that. And then for me, I think I got into probably one of the deeper conversations about my own mom.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just cool that, us in passing, whenever we're talking, like we do talk about that quite often. And then she got on the podcast and it actually took off from there. So that was pretty cool.
I thought it was awesome. And to add into that, Jay, it kind of fit what we end up talking about later on. I think we end up having a meeting on it a little bit more with the team. Was with Mean Green, man, we're here to empower.
Yeah.
And it's not just the push-ups. It's not just the squats. It's to be consistent at the squats and push-ups. And it has everything to do with being empowered for who you are, for identity, for being embraced with love, to see the good versus the bad, the water being half full than half empty. And I think that episode, we were able to not just talk fitness. It was almost everything besides fitness.
I don't think we barely talked about fitness.
Yeah, because I can't recall. And sometimes
I think she asked us some gym questions, but that was it.
Yeah. I low-key be thinking, like, that's all members are going to talk to us about. when y'all ask questions, I'm thinking it's going to be like, why did you do this? Or why is it burpees here? And why is it this? And I would say 80% of our conversation, if y'all notice on the podcast, has nothing to do with the X's and O's on how to do a proper squat or macros. So
I actually have the complete opposite expectation
from Ree, or just in general of everybody.
I just feel like they don't care about on here. They don't care about fitness.
Yeah, I think
not fitness, working out specifically.
Working out.
Yeah,
I think when they see the lights and camera and screens and mics and everything, it's kind of like But with Ree, and then we'll go to the others because I know we have to be respectful. And the next person is
Rick. Rick is next. I got you, Rick. Sorry, Sheree.
I think that the one thing that Ree will walk away from this podcast, because she, if you remember at the beginning, she wanted the questions.
Oh, yeah, she was ready.
And we were like, yo, we don't give questions out. Like, we're going to get on here and be like, how's your day? And we just start from there. But after, I believe she walked away saying that's why this podcast show is so authentic and so organic, because literally we blossomed to this conversation not because it was planned. It was because, man, one question took us there, and then that meant this, and then the response from this created that. And I think that was one thing she'll walk away saying, like, dang, that was pretty dope.
Absolutely.
So Northside, we still there.
Yep, we stayed on the north side 2 weeks. This week we had Rick, week 4.
Rick, Pretty Rick is what they call him. Dog, I run into Rick everywhere. I ran into him again. We went to a high school basketball game.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, Rick, what up, Rick? Him and Nikki. What would you take away with Rick? He's funny.
Man, yeah, Rick is hilarious, man. I think my biggest takeaway from Rick was, I was going to say, kind of work ethic, more so. It's a question that I had for him. I felt like I always needed to have this big this grand plan moving forward. But from Rick, it was kind of like, nah, man, just you'll figure it out on the way.
Yeah.
You just gotta head that way.
I like that.
And for me, like, it was cool hearing the different career paths that he started and changed and started going on to get to the point where he's at now. I thought that was pretty cool. And then also hearing his relationship with his wife, with Nikki.
Yeah.
And how basically, they're a part of the same fitness family, but they kind of go at different times, do their own different things. It was just cool hearing that perspective from him, being a young man. Obviously, I'm not there, but that's where I want to be.
Absolutely.
So.
I think too, to point out with Rick is the goals with a Z. the end. Goals. You know,
What is he?
When I look
Slick
at
Rick.
Rick, that's goals.
Yeah.
You know, I think anybody that have a relationship or desire a relationship, you want that connection with your spouse, that y'all do have that in general common interest to work out to get better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many of us work out and your spouse or your boo don't work out.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing you desire.
Yeah.
Everything else is check marks. But
Yeah.
you're like, man, I really want my wife to work out or my girlfriend to work out because I want her to be healthy. It's not necessarily to look a certain way. It's just that you want them to be healthy, vice versa. And they have that check mark.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about it is not that they have to go with the same intensity or they have to go to the same class or got to have the same trainer. One person trains in the evening with a different trainer and one trains in the morning or noon with a different trainer. And that's dope.
Yeah.
And I think anybody, and correct me if I'm wrong or agree with me down below, like, wouldn't you want your loved one to work out? You know, would you find that acceptable if they are working out? Not lift a certain amount of weight, not run at a certain speed, just work out. And I would say that's goals.
Yeah.
That's goals.
I've considered that in my own personal head, the character podcast. Because one of the big things we did hit on was Rick's just a good person, man.
Everybody love Rick.
And we talked about how he inspired people and empowered people around him. And his big thing was like, man, I just want people to be happy.
That's
like
it.
I want somebody to have a smile on their face. From a member perspective, like, what did it mean to you to know that you have members like that have that figured out for the most part?
It's inspiring. I've never, and I never will, paint the picture that I got it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I can shut up and be the quiet person in the room, it means a lot. And there's moments where I've been around Rick, and I'm shutting up because I'm watching. I see how at flag football he has his wife and his kids there, present. You know, I've ran into him at the Astros parade or Tacita basketball, North Shore football, and his family's present. I've seen how he supported his wife. I've seen, like, that is so inspiring to me as a man. And just think Rick is one of many.
Yeah.
So I consider myself in a lot of luxury because I'm with a lot of people with high standards that are driven, and they inspire me. It's funny because they come to class to be inspired by us. But I'm so inspired of so many stories and the testament of your achievement. And even for those that I've seen fail and how they freaking get back up and keep moving. So I'm just inspired.
I love that you said that because I feel like if you didn't grow, then this would be I call it a parasitic relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got members that come in and constantly take from you, but never giving you anything. So I feel like this is, don't let me get into the science, y'all. Is it symbiotic? It might be symbiotic. It's a symbiotic relationship.
What's he asking me that?
I think that's what you call it. But anyways, it's where, both organisms within they feed off of one another, right? So they help each other to grow. Okay. So it's like a leaf in a tree, right? The leaf photosynthesis gives the tree takes in water, whatever, feeds the leaves, yada yada. So I feel like that's kind of what the gym is, and that relationship that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
It'd be parasitic if Rick or you was only able to give Rick what he needed.
And nothing in return.
Yeah, if you got nothing in return, the gym wouldn't grow, the gym wouldn't flourish, the workouts wouldn't be great, the atmosphere wouldn't be great.
That's dope.
But I think we feed off of each other. So even spot 4, spot 3, like me as a trainer, I walk around trying to how do I feed off of you? I know you're feeding off me.
I like
right?
that, Jay.
But I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from that.
I love it. And then with Rick, and again, we got to get to the next
two
people because I want to be respectful where we're at. I want to be respectful to everybody's time. But one thing that I would like to throw out there, and y'all agree or disagree, with Rick, he is the voice of the party.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to be right in the middle of it. But the thing that I think that everybody loves about him, in addition to what you said, was I've never seen, and this is where we hopefully have something in common. I've never seen Rick have a bad day. But he has to have them.
Absolutely.
Right? He married too. right? He got to have them days. He got kids too.
Yeah.
He got to have them days. He got a career. He's an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Life has to happen to him. But it's like every time I see Rick, good mood. I've never seen Rick walking into the gym or an event. I've never seen Rick to say, "Hey, Chris, let me let you know this is what I did today." And guess what nope. It's all like every time I talk to Rick, Chris, how you doing today? How's the kids? I seen them playing basketball. What Tina up to? Man, what you got up next?
Yeah.
Like he's always asking about me or the family, and he's so like selfless. Yeah. And again, it's inspiring to freaking see that. So that'll be my final takeaway with Pretty Ricky's what they call.
Just to piggyback off that, he did say something that I think is important to remember. If you guys watched, it was you don't know what the next person has been through today. You just don't know. So, I could have had me and my wife could have been in an argument. My son could have done something stupid at school, yada, yada, yada. But this person next to me might have lost their mom.
Yeah, man.
Like, you don't know what this person has gone through. So why am I about to come give them my bad energy when they don't need that?
I love it.
So, I loved his podcast, man. It really made me put things into perspective.
I love him. Well, shout out to Rick.
Shout out.
All right, episode 5, man. Who we have?
We have my girl, Maritza.
Maritza, what's up? All right, Maritza. I'm gonna start with this one.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, what's your takeaway? I know Maritza a little bit better than you, so.
You know what I love about this specific segment? I love meeting people, and I will hang out with them with it's no doubt. If I seen her somewhere else, I want to hang with her. Like she just seemed like just fun, but at the same time approachable.
Yeah.
Outgoing, but at the same time reserved. Like she just seemed like if I was out and about and I ran into her, I'd be like, "Oh, you need a seat? You want to sit down?"
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can be out and about, and you be like, "Nah, I don't know if I want to hang with them." But she just seemed just fun. Like it's something about her energy. It was electrifying.
Yeah.
And again, we sit on a podcast an hour. And just after that hour, I was just like, she's cool.
Yeah.
And I can see why. And this goes for a lot of you. I like this part. This is why people go to Mean Green. Because you deal with whatever you deal with at work or at home or life. And then you want to go get by somebody that's going to bring you great energy, that's fun, that's exciting. And I can see me showing up to boot camp wanting to lay my mat by hers.
Yeah.
Because that's how dope she is. So, long-winded response.
I love it because that's 100% who she is.
Yeah.
Like it's the same way with Rick. Like, man, Rick doesn't have a bad day. I feel like she doesn't have a bad day. Every single time I've ever seen Maritza, and she's been coming boot camp for over a year.
Yeah.
She's smiling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single time.
And have to have a bad day, right?
Have to.
Sometimes, things don't go your way or somebody cuts you off on the freeway, but you wouldn't know it.
Yeah.
As a coach, what after that podcast, did your approach with watching her interact with other people, did that change, or you already kind of knew she was that electrifying with everybody?
Yeah, I knew she was. That's why I wanted to get her on here.
Yeah.
Just so other people could know.
Yeah.
But she's just that kind of person.
Yeah.
Like she's a good-spirited person. Like if you are having a bad day and need some good spirit in your life, not somebody that's going to bring you down, not somebody that's going to be like,
right.
What do you call it? Somebody that's going to feed the pity. She's just a genuine, kind-hearted person. She did make me feel like I need to travel the world a little bit more.
I know.
I was like, dang, I ain't even know where.
I know. Even off camera, we started talking about it even more.
You need to go to Mexico City. I ain't even thought about Mexico City.
Goodness.
But yeah, she I would call her a very well-rounded person.
Absolutely. Well, with two things, if I had to ask you for two, because I'm asking.
Okay.
Two things. If you was to build the perfect avatar for a Mean Green boot camper, what is two things you would take from her to make sure it was cloned in everybody else?
From her, I would definitely take her. Dang, I was gonna say character, but I kind of mean that.
Yeah,
I kind of mean that.
I'm with that.
Yeah, like who she is as a person, just the outgoing, the upbeat. I would definitely take that from her and put it into somebody else. She's just, if somebody comes to boot camp, it's always a hi.
Yeah.
Oh, how you doing?
Right.
Like she's inviting.
Yeah.
I would take that inviting spirit. The second thing I would take is just the consistency. She's very consistent. Like she's gonna be there. There aren't too many times. Actually, I don't remember any. And Maritza, I might be wrong, and I don't mean to make you feel bad if this has happened, but I don't. You know, sometimes people text me like, Jared, it was just too cold, or Jared, I got stuck in traffic, or you know, I don't. She hasn't. I think one time maybe she was stuck in traffic and she would have shown up at like 6:45.
Yeah.
So she didn't come, but I think that's the one time she's ever just not shown up, even though she could have.
I like that.
So consistency wise, yeah, she's there. 30 degrees.
I think
we had 2 weeks ago. We had a 30-degree boot camp. She was one of the 6 that showed up.
That's pretty good. 6 and 30.
I was expecting less.
Yeah.
So
that's dope. I would like to insert this again. I haven't had the luxury to train her, right? But kind of going back to my boot camp days, the gym has it has a staff in the hour that you're there. You have someone working the front desk. Depending on what hour you go to, you have someone working the front desk, and you have somebody with the camera that's working social media, and then you have a coach coaching the floor, and then you might have like an ambassador like Money or Erica around hyping the class.
Yeah.
At boot camp, it's different. So one thing I used to do at boot camp when I had someone that was new, it was you want everybody to feel what we're known for when they come to boot camp.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of send people to those OGs.
Yep.
And she just seemed like the person. If I had somebody on the very first day, oh, go put your mat by her.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we talked about sales earlier in this show. Our Mean Green members sell better than any one of our trainers.
Absolutely.
I'm being real. Any one of our staff members, because we're supposed to say these things,
is awesome,
right? But when you guys say those things, they receive it a lot different. So just outside looking in, man, if I had a class and I had 3 members showing up for the very first day, I would love for them to be by her because she's going to be the extension, right? She's the quarterback of the coach. She's the extension of Jared. So for her to be like, oh, I come here and I've been going here this long and this is what I like about it and this is what I've been doing. This is what I've achieved. This is who I've met. I like these events. Like she is like the prime example outside looking in. And that's why I would love to clone her and have her all throughout every boot, every gym, online, whatever we have.
Absolutely. I think I'm gonna take a deep dive with this one.
Hey.
First thing is, I love when people do that. Like it makes me feel so good as a coach to, hey, you know, we're gonna get through this workout, yada yada yada, do X Y Z. This is where you're gonna be. So you know, you take everybody through the whole spiel.
Yeah, man.
And then, I mean, once you have to get to explaining and coaching the workout, you show them a little bit of love, right? You show them a little extra love, especially on their first day. But you're not hovering them the whole workout.
Yeah.
So it's nice when, you know, you have to leave the new member to themselves, and then you're going left and right, but then you take a peek back and you see them laughing and giggling with the old member. It's like,
that's
okay.
Dope. Ain't nothing
like it doesn't have to be just me that's, you know, entertaining you
ain't
right
nothing
now.
Like it.
So
I
definitely appreciate that. But number 2, kind of what you just said, it strikes with me, because even new trainers coming in, right? If you were going to, let's say, run a gym, right? So let's say you're running this gym. Chris, you've been running this gym for how long? 2013. So 2013. So you've had members that have been here for a decade, almost a decade, over a decade, some because they've been with you since boot camp. Some of those people were in their late 20s when they started with you. Yeah. Now they're in their later 30s, right? Things have changed. Their bodies have changed. I'm talking to you, Wes. I'm talking to you, Allie. I'm talking to you guys. But they're your faithfuls, right?
Absolutely.
And they're not only faithful to you, they're faithful to the brand, which is amazing. But I think it's like when, you know, obviously when we start boot camp, like you get your Muis, you get your Allie, your Wes, your Ericas, your people that have been there for so long. But obviously they're aging, right? They're 36. I think it's cool to get people in at 22, 24, 26, and to see that same commitment level grow into them that your older members, like your vets, your OGs, have in them to bring people in, and all of a sudden they start to feel that same feeling. For me, I think that was one of the most rewarding feelings, because that was a concern coming in.
That's well said.
Like, dang, Chris, you've had these members follow you for 13 years. Like, are we gonna be able to, like, dang, that's I feel like that's tough.
That's real.
You gotta be a really good trainer to get that. So
that's real.
That's to be able, for people like her. I got my girl on the north side, Diana. I want to make sure I shout out her.
Yeah.
Just for people to be able to commit to buy into what you do, love what you do, invite people around them. When people get there, they talk so highly about what you do. I just think that's amazing.
Life is funny because the same thoughts you have, I had, and it wasn't necessarily coming after another Mean Green instructor. It was just like being an instructor in general.
Yeah.
And our biggest marketing tool has always been our members. Always been our members, man. And to see you think that and value that within everybody, it's just a recycle of what we have to continue to do as a brand.
Yeah.
At the party, I'm going to talk a little bit about the new logo and the design of it and why it's designed that way and what I think when I look at it. And I can't go in depth because I don't want to slip here on the show. I want it to be a surprise this Saturday.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that cycle from a Wes and Allison to a movie to everybody else moving forward, it just shows you a testament that it's not a Chris thing. It never was designed to be a Chris thing. It's a culture thing. It's Mean Green. And Mean Green, the avatar, is the person that is like you and I, right? The person that felt that their back was against the wall and they didn't want to give up. The person that needed love. The person that wanted to offer love. The person that feel like there was more to life and they didn't want to give up or want to be around like-minded people. I mean, I can go on and on what Mean Green is, but that's the beauty of it. It's not a West. It's not just a Tiffany Hill. It's a culture of the same minded people that are bridged together to get results. So shout out to you, sis.
Shout out Maritza.
All right, episode 6. This is the final one. All right, T. Freaking T. T got people crying.
T had people on a whole roller coaster of emotions, man. A whole roller coaster. She had people in tears, having to get their tissues out. She had people running to the restroom because they were about to pee on themselves.
Man, that girl.
She had everybody in a whole roller coaster, and us as well.
Well, I say this about T, and honestly, I don't even know how to start off about the recap with her.
Yeah.
But I do. Live was off the chain.
Off the chain.
Like, goodness, it seemed like, so typically when a lot of people watch this as replay when they're at work the next day or when they're running or in the car, right? But live was something different that day. And it was so cool because I know she was on and she was able to see that she wasn't alone.
Yeah. Like
the very same thing she opened up with, whether it was the wink or her self conversations.
Yeah.
So many people were able to connect with her. And I felt, Jared, that people start texting and calling other people. Hey, you got to get on right now. Hey, like, check this out. Hit this link. And it was special.
Absolutely.
It was special.
Absolutely.
It was special.
She opened up in ways that I wasn't expecting.
I wasn't either.
I was not.
I wasn't.
She did tell me that she gave me a fair warning. She said, Jared, get y'all tissues ready. When I told her what episode, again, I just knew she was talking about y'all because I thought I knew.
I thought it was gonna be like a funny one. Like
I knew we were gonna hit an emotion. I didn't know it was gonna be that deep.
Okay.
Again, when she told me to get y'all tissues ready, she was like, I don't know if they ready for my testimony. So I was like, I knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
So when she hit us, she hit all of us. When she hit us with that, that's the first time I text Chris, y'all. I was like, this is the first time I didn't know if I was gonna be able to finish the podcast.
Yeah.
Like I was this close to just walking away
Yeah.
and switching spots with Erica behind the camera.
Bro, it was twice where it was I don't even know if it was a turn, but I was like, like I couldn't say nothing, man. I was just,
Whew.
I'm gonna say my response now. I wasn't at all at what she conquered because I believe in her. I believe in people.
Absolutely.
I was in awe in the way that she looked at us in part of her journey. You know, like little old mean green. You believe in that much of us to call us or text us when you're in that position mentally and emotionally. Like little old us, not Oprah, you know, not Tony Robbins, not T. Harv Eker or all these geniuses out there, but us. And that's why I was at awe. Now her conquering and being a beast and being a go-getter, that doesn't surprise me. People are amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was at awe because of little old us.
Man, like you said, I most definitely believe in her. We talked about this. If you've followed the podcast, you might have heard me say it before. But like growing up, just the stay out of grown folks' business. Like I've talked about how that had its impact on me, and feeling not as heard as I could be. So honestly, I think that's 99% of the reason I was so moved in her saying that, because she was basically saying, hey, your word and your words saved my life.
Yeah.
It's like I took so much value into what you said.
Yeah, man.
I didn't do what was on my brain. So like that, that's literally, I couldn't speak.
Man.
I couldn't speak. It just she drew that much emotion out of me. So yeah, absolutely. That was amazing. I think that was.
I think, Jay, even as we talk about it now, you can kind of hear Jared and I, and like from right when it's over, talking to you and Milton, just I have so many people just hitting us up, man, and I think, and I'm trying to be careful on the way I word this because it's such a sensitive topic. But a lot of people, a lot of us, people, including myself, we deal with self-doubt, we deal with depression, we deal with anxiety, we deal with so much. And the thing that I love that she did on this platform, she opened up and said that she get help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was so proud of her to be brave enough to say that, because so many people feel like that's a sign of weakness because you get help. That's like saying that I don't know how to lose weight or do a squat right, so I'm not going to get a trainer. If we have the confidence to go get a trainer, you should have confidence to get help. And that's in other avenues of our life. And I was just so proud of her for doing that, because I know that wasn't easy, but she rocked it. And I was proud of that. And then the second, I'm proud of a lot of things, but the second thing I'll point out was to reach out and not shut up is so important, especially as a guy. That's why I started the nonprofit I Am Alpha, is because of me. I was shut up and turned off when I don't understand, when I don't want to move forward, when I have self-doubt, when I've dealt with depression. And for her to not only get help, but like go around others that give her life, that give her a positive, vibrant feel, I thought that was speaking to me directly. And that's the thing that I will walk away with after talking to her on this platform was, hey, man, go out when you have those struggles, talk to people. Like I called Jared one night on the way to Starbucks. Like typically I will bottle stuff in, and I called him. I was just like, yo, let me tell you what I'm going through. This is what it is. And it's a sense of relief, not only when you are able to express and tell somebody something, but you do that to someone that you know care about you. It wasn't like, yo, hey, what's going on, Chris? All right, bro, let me call you back, man. Or how much? No, let me call you back. It was like, you listened. You gave me a response. You good? And I think her presenting that was very inspiring to me to hear that, because it helped me. So hopefully it helped you guys as well. What you think, Jay?
It helped them. I know it did. That was a really cool post podcast couple days.
True.
Because we got a lot of feedback, and I want to hit on feedback after this segment, but like y'all shot us some messages, man. And I thought one of the coolest messages I got was talking about how, you know, she really spoke on what a lot of people deal with.
Yeah.
And somebody said, you know, a lot of people that come to Mean Green are, you know, in dark places sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, they're not where they want to be in life. They you know, they have these goals, these aspirations. They're not there, so they have these you know, stigmas about their bodies and XYZ. And Mean Green truly helps them find a support system and a family that is not found anywhere else. And that's why, you know, even
that's good, bro.
You know, just yeah, that's the bottom line on that one.
I think a lot of things, but with this one specifically, with T specifically, I think it was important for that to be said in the moment that she said it. Again, I'm going selfish for me. I think it was important for Milton specifically. And
I truly believe that too.
You know, it's funny how things operate and move, because sometimes you kind of, as a leader, leadership don't always feel right. Making decisions don't always feel right or easy. And sometimes you have to make decisions based upon what's right versus trying to please everybody. Yeah. And in the fitness space, if I please everybody, we are out of business 10 years ago. Yeah. It's no way that you can please everybody. And there's no way in life you can please everybody and be happy and find joy and find peace. So for that one, it was confirmation for a lot of things that I've seen in the last month, in the last quarter, even with my family in the past year and a half. It really helped me put things in perspective on this is why I do it. T, you're why I do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna name names. I'm gonna make up random names. But Jimmy, you're why I do this. Felicia, you're why I do this. Cedric, you're why I do this. You know, Jared, you're why I do this. You know, because at times you do have doubt. Yeah. You do wonder if people listen. You do wonder if people value it. And then on that camera, I think that's why it stunned me the way it stunned me, because I was like, damn.
It's convicted.
Like, she, wow.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell my kids that 30 years from now. Like, man, I remember doing a podcast with Jared, and I remember somebody said that their life was saved because of Jared and Milton. Son, that's why we do what we do. That's why we don't give up. Yeah. Because there were times where we could have gave up in the pandemic. We could have gave up in the floods. We could have gave up with some really difficult situations. But, no, that's why we do what we do. And I really value what she said because of that. So, thank you, T.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, bro. We went through all 6 episodes. What do we do from here? How do we end this?
Man, that was I don't know. I think that this is obviously a recap episode. I would love to hear what you guys thought of the series itself. Of Tell Us the Good. Do y'all think they told us?
Did they tell us the good?
Or did they hold some stuff back? If they held some stuff back and you feel like you could tell us some good.
Now you might be opening up a door. Because we are gonna bring back our next segment. Man, it's cool to bring people on.
Absolutely.
And I think it's funny. For my position, I'm always thinking that people want to talk about workouts. Or why do we do this and why do we don't do that? But we didn't really get a lot of those questions.
Nah.
You know, because there are a lot of fitness brands that do great things, you know. Why don't we have rowers like Orange Theory, the water rowers? Do they have water rowers?
I think so.
I've never been. But why we don't have those rowers, right? Or why the North Side don't have climate control? Or why the Southwest don't have their property on an acre not connected to other businesses, you know? those are the questions that I'm always like, okay, those are the ones we're gonna have to answer.
ready.
And we didn't get none of those, right? Not saying that I want to talk about it, but I was prepped to talk about it, right? And but I guess what we do is really true. People are not here just because
The workout.
They really, whether they know it or not, they're here for more. And then when they understand why they're here, that's why they're here.
Yep.
So that's my really good. You got anything else, bro?
Let's get some names, y'all.
Some names.
Let's get some names.
All right, I'm going to throw some names out there. Because I'm going to put the first one out. But we already confirmed that she's on. P.
Okay,
I've been waiting for P. Oh, P, I can't wait to get you on this show. Let me throw 2 more names out there. Who would I want to get on this show?
We're supposed to get Sadie.
Sadie coming?
We're supposed to get Sadie. She was a name that was dropped during the podcast.
Sadie, what's up? I would
Sadie
love
B.
to chat with Sadie. I've been knowing Sadie for a long time. That would be honored. I would be honored to chop it up with Sadie. I'm going to go with my girl G from the 6 a.m. class.
Gigi. When you were talking about events earlier, Gigi, I got to know Gigi a little bit better at the beach event.
Beach, yeah.
So yeah, she'd be cool to have on the podcast.
I would like Gigi. And I'm going to pick a guy. My guy, it's easy for me to say like T. Bracey.
Yeah.
Like, I get to train T all the time. But we need to talk to Jesse.
Yep.
From 5'10". But the guy that probably will hear this, if he hears it, and will be like surprised. Parrish. P. My other P.
Parrish.
Let me tell you why he will be intriguing is because I've seen him invite people here.
Yeah.
And he's fairly new. I want to catch him while he's new.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people we're bringing on, they've been here for a year or 2, 5, 10, whatever.
Yeah.
I want to catch him under 6 months. Like, so.
Another under 6 months from this gym.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to see my boy Pat.
Pat.
Want to see my boy Pat.
I've been seeing him at the Tacita basketball games. Okay, Pat.
We had a really good conversation the other day. I would love for him to be on this podcast.
Okay. And he's not from Houston, so that makes it even better.
Yep.
What
Pat
about
would
lady?
be one. Lady from this gym.
Mm-hmm.
Lady from this gym. I would want to see Nancy.
Which Nancy? Nancy T, 9 a.m.?
Nancy T, 9 a.m.
Okay, yeah. You know, she'd be great because she just had a little one.
Yeah.
So that would be
She left the gym a long time, and she came right back. Yep.
And still better than me and everything. That girl is a beast,
She
man.
is. But yeah, I would love to see her from this gym. Southside, I would like to see Sam.
Sam
P.
from the South?
Northside.
Northside. Oh, Patel?
Sam Patel.
Sam would be entertaining.
Very entertaining, man.
Sam, I would love to have freaking Sam on here.
I would like to see Sam.
I think we would have to have some yak on here if Sam comes, man. Nah, that's my guy. I've been knowing Sam for years. Sam Patel would be amazing.
And then honestly, the North Side, I'm not gonna do y'all no disservice. I would want to see somebody from either the 5 a.m.
Early morning.
Yeah, early morning, 5 a.m., 9 a.m.
Right.
Or the 5:30 or 6:45. Those early morning times or those late times. A lady out of one of those classes.
I like that.
I'm not there, so I don't know exactly who's in those classes. So I got to
work.
ask Coach Harms, Coach
Walker, Kevin, KJ.
KJ.
Right.
So I'm out. We gonna get somebody on here from one of those times though.
Investigating. All right, pick one coach.
Coach, Bootcamp. I got y'all too. Bootcamp. But coach that I would want to see on here, Christian.
Oh, Christian would be good.
Christian might get y'all in tears too.
Yeah, he got a good start. All right.
But I want to see Christian on here.
All right. Adrian.
Want to see Faye?
I want to pay.
They got a store.
It's time for Faye.
Free.
It's time for Faye. It's time for. I don't know how we're gonna schedule it, but it's time for Faye. But no, man, that's it. That's all that I have. If there's anything else you don't have, or
Nope.
have or don't have.
Nope.
Guys, this weekend is important to me at least.
Yep.
Man, we're gonna party like we always party. Be responsible. All right.
Like a
take an
wreck.
Uber. eat, But the release of our new brand logo and why and the direction, I just want to celebrate with everybody. So come out, guys. It's going to be a blast. That's it, man.
Mean Green
I feel like I was forgetting something. Or
No,
you
I think you got it.
were going to say something about the comments.
The comments. I think I said it already.
You said it? Okay.
Yeah.
Because, man, I finished with this. The comments was everything.
Absolutely.
Going back, reading everybody's comments and how I bought in, and, oh, man, that was freaking fantastic.
Seeing people that you didn't even know were going to be on there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of people didn't comment at all throughout the entire podcast until T said something about the shouts, and then everybody. Then you actually, you got to see who was actually watching because everybody put laughing faces. So that was fun.
Because we didn't even talk about how funny she was, but we only got how much time? Yeah, we've been on here for a minute.
She was hilarious.
But
yeah, man.
Cool. Well, Jay, man, it's always a pleasure, man. I'm proud of you. Everybody else, man, I love you guys. We'll see you on the other side.
Yes,
Thank you, guys. Take care.